You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. However you are feeling today, I think is a direct correlation between the result of the game and what your season expectation was. Let me be clear. If you love LSU, you're super disappointed, okay? I mean, it was a doink off the upright. Well, almost in a literal sense, but to start the Brian Kelly era. There was so much bad in the game, so much to be disappointed about. And anytime you lose, you're going to feel disappointed and bummed and maybe angry, frustrated, whatever. But if you're one of those people who last week was saying, man, Tigers 38-10, they're going 10-2 this year. If you were one of those people, and you know who you are, it's all right, you're probably hiding today, but that's okay. You know who you are. If you're one of those people, you're furious today. You're furious, probably a little embarrassed too. But it's your fault for not listening. If you're one of those people who thought this was going to be a close game, thought LSU was going to be in the midst of a rebuild type season and program, you're super bummed, especially because you got so high with the way they rallied with 3 straight scoring drives and scoring with no time and all the way that it ended. And to have it end the way it did was just so massively deflating and disappointing and inexcusable, which we'll talk plenty about. And look, I want to be clear, y'all. Like, today is not an I told you so day. That's not where I'm coming from, okay? Look, I'm like you. We all get some right and we get some wrong, okay? I picked LSU to win the game. They didn't. I was wrong. I thought they'd win a close game in the 20s. It was a close game in the 20s. LSU lost it. We all get some right and wrong. But the point that I'm making more so is there's so much that was so obvious coming about this team, this program coming into this season that we talked about so much that a lot of you just didn't want to hear. So how many times, like when I say it now and you hear it now with the benefit of having seen a game, it's going to hit differently. When I say now what I've said for 6 months, which is, man, LSU's biggest concern is their offensive line. I like all those guys, very talented. I think all 5 will have a chance to play in the NFL, but you got a true freshman starting at left tackle. You got a center who's never played the position. You got a left guard who was a group of 5 right tackle a year ago. You got a right guard that was a tackle and a right tackle that was a left tackle that couldn't even start at the beginning of the season. He was your most experienced guy. At times was a turnstile. Like, we've said that so many times, but only when you saw it manifest last night do many of you actually believe it and understand it now. That offensive line's a huge issue. Clearly a major issue. How many times did I say, man, I'll tell you what, if it comes down to a kick, Cade York was automatic. Boy, if you're down 2 with 1 second to go and Damian Ramos is out there for the game-winning kick, I'm holding my breath. How many times did I say that exact sentence on so many different platforms? And look what happened. I'm not blaming Damian Ramos altogether. I'm also not a special teams coach. Mason Taylor obviously had a major gaffe as your left end where he went out and allowed someone to come inside of him and got the kick blocked. Could Ramos have sped it up? I don't know. I'm not the special teams coach. Hopefully we'll find out that answer. Talked about linebackers. Talked about cornerbacks. I thought your boundary corners actually played really well. We talked about Jaden Daniels, who I've said since he transferred, he was going to start. I've said it a million times. Jaden Daniels is going to take the first snap. Don't know if he'll play well enough to keep the job, but he's going to get the first opportunity because he's a mobile quarterback. He's got the skill set they want. He's had 30 starts. The moment's not going to be too big. And who started? A lot of y'all crapped on me for it. Who started? Like, you get some of those right, you get some of those wrong, but some of it it hits differently now that you've seen the game and you understand. Behind that offensive line, y'all, we got the Miles Brennan question so many times. Even last night, do you get it now? Miles Brennan would have been sacked 15 times in that game behind that line. You got to understand and acknowledge what you are, not what you were. LSU was a championship program, and 2019 was glorious. But what you are right now, not what you were, what you are, is a team that has a losing record over the last 2 years. A team that played a bowl game with 39 scholarship players. A team that brought in 15 transfers. A team that replaced 9 full-time assistants, the entire staff, changed the culture, all of it. That's what you are. And what you are is not elite today. I think they will get there under Brian Kelly, but they're not there today. And this isn't new. This isn't LSU or Brian Kelly and something unique to them. Look, go back to 2000, Nick Saban's first season here, y'all. They lost to UAB. He was changing the culture. Take championship Saban. His first year at Bama, they lost to ULM. Les Miles in his first season blew a 21-point home lead to Tennessee. Ed Ogeron's first season, they lose at home to Troy. They get blown out on the road at Mississippi State. Those teams won 9 games. I don't know if I believe this team's going to win 9 games, but anytime there's a coaching change, there isn't got to be an expectation of issue in that transition. Unless if it's a rare instance like Lincoln Riley taking over an already established championship program because a legendary coach retires. Like, you can have a smooth transition in those instances. Yo, I'm not here to sell you on anything today, okay? I'm not trying to sell you on things are better than they seem. I'm not here to sell you on any of that. They were awful gaffes last night, which cost you the game. Opening possession, you drive down to the 5-yard line. You're about to punch him in the mouth. First possession of the game. And you have a snap sail 14 yards over the quarterback's head. How many times did we talk about that? About snaps. Your best player on the team. 3rd and 11. They draw up a quick slant to him at the goal line, and he doesn't get his head around it. Hits him in the 7. Beautiful ball by Daniels. Threw a rope, hit Kayshon Boutte in the 7, and carry him through the back of the end zone because he didn't get his head around and catch it. How much different is the ball game if your best player catches that pass? You muffed 2 punts. You had 2 kicks blocked. You had a timeout coming out of a change of possession. I crushed Ed Ogeron for it a year ago. We all murdered Les Miles for clock management, and here you go with Brian Kelly. Inexcusable. I don't care if it's your first season. Order, structure, organization, all the things we talked about. That is inexcusable. Sage Ryan, beautiful play, back of the end zone on 4th down and goal, comes up with the stop. Your offense takes over, and what happens? You're not prepared, timeout, and it was your last timeout of the half, so you tried with under a minute to put together a 2-minute offense to go get points before the end of the half, and you ran out of time because you took a sack and you couldn't stop the clock. Inexcusable. There's a lot of that. You could have won the game. You had opportunities. But you are not a good enough team to overcome the mistakes you made to win that type of game. Unfortunately, today. Y'all, there was good. There was good in this ballgame. As hard as it is to acknowledge, because so often when I say winning masks deficiencies, when you win, you ignore the bad. But so many times when you lose, you ignore the good. And there was good. That team never quit, y'all. They were down 2 scores twice in the second half and came back from them and even overcame the muff. What a play by Mekhi Wingo to get on the bottom of that pile and steal the ball at the 1-yard line and then to go on a 99-yard touchdown drive in a minute 20. Incredible. You found something offensively with the tempo. That much was clear. By the way, how good was your run defense even without Mason Smith? We talked so much about those 3 running backs. Do you realize those 3 running backs from Florida State, which all ran for 100 yards over against Duquesne a week ago? Ward, 16 carries for 49 yards. Benson, 6 for 15. Toafili, 4 for 9. Their run game up the middle was non-existent against LSU's defensive front. Jaden Daniels, his legs, dynamic. We talked about it a ton. He put it on display. Leading rusher for you in the ball game. Thought your boundary corners played well. You got burned on a flea flicker, and a guy made an incredible one-handed catch in the end zone. Tip your cap. Other than that, I think LSU's outside cornerbacks played very well. There was things to like in the ballgame and things that you can improve upon. But the big question is, how much can this team improve week to week? And that will determine if this program is going in a positive direction. Because a year ago, you lost to UCLA, and it never got better. You got blown out against Ole Miss, and you quit. You got blown out against Kentucky, and you quit. That was a sinking ship, clearly. And now the ship has a new captain. Can he get this team, which shot itself in the foot over and over and over again against Florida State, to pick themselves up and move forward and move up, to continue ascending, to continue climbing and building and improving throughout the course of this season? I don't know the answer to that, but we're going to find out, because you got 11 more of these to go. I suspect they will. I suspect they will continue to improve and get better as the season goes along. Teams are allowed to do that. You're allowed to improve as the year goes along. I don't know what that final mark's going to be. I picked them 8-4. Would I recalibrate? Absolutely. Hadn't beaten Florida State. I'll say 7-5. But you know why I'm confident in saying that today? Because I didn't think they were going to be great to begin with. But if you came into last night thinking 10-2 and you saw that, you're thinking, man, they're not going to win a game. No. You had to know there was going to be struggles if you were willing to objectively look at everything they lost from a year ago, all of the transition, all of the tumult and turmoil. If you were objectively willing to look at all of that coming into this season, then last night's result shouldn't surprise you. You can be disappointed, for sure, but it shouldn't surprise you because of all the change, because of all the turnover. Now, how much can they fix week 1 to week 2? And they better fix a hell of a lot of it, because one of the ones that you can get at home is Mississippi State, one you need to get. So you got a lot to fix between now and Saturday against Southern, and then you go into game week when you open up conference play against Mississippi State. Listen, Brian Kelly signed up for this. The SEC schedule is an unrelenting gauntlet, okay? We all know it. He's going to learn it real quick. Will this team buy in? Will this team continue to improve, or will last night's result sink them like they sunk a year ago, like they sunk the last 2 years? Only time's going to tell. But I'm here for the ride. See what they got. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.